What I do kind of like is if we compare to the PA from the last series, we saw that they kind of all maximized the output for the Phantom Assassin, but then they were lacking in like every other perspective. That was Hydra's Phantom Assassin. Now Winstrike definitely has the tools to team fight, wave push, wave clear, not just with the PA, but with several other heroes. So if you're looking at the team fight, one guy gets roared, you have nightmare saves, you have mobility, you have a way to disrupt CIS Rejects heroes, especially this Leshrac who's going to be charging at your supports, killing them instantly, or trying to isolate the PA.
And look at the bans from CIS Rejects. They definitely want to charge in, and you ban out the Tide and the Mars. You pretty much just like come walk into us. That's a smart move. Of course, the Tide, he catches the IO with the Ravage. He can't help the Lesh, and the Mars, if he isolates someone, that would be an easy grab. Of course, both of them are pretty strong in the laning stage as well. And CIS Rejects, they are still missing out on their carry. The two that would be perfect, the TB, the Luna, have been banned. A Morphling comes to mind as a pretty decent one, considering that he has a ton of armor, and these pokes from the Chikiro, from the Bane, they're pretty much not going to hurt him that much.
Now that I'm looking at CIS Rejects lineup, that Quap was kind of... this is something I didn't quite jump onto, but they have a 100% win rate with Beast and Quap in the same draft, so that Quap taken away, CIS Rejects only get half of that. Very small data though, because it's only just a couple games, but still 100% is 100%. They have been successful in this this tournament so far, very like as a whole. And I wonder what Ramses wants to play, because when you look at his hero pool, we see the Wraith King. I think he's only played, he's only played one game of Wraith King so far. So he's been capable of playing almost any hero, and only played the Luna TB twice. Everything else once.
The Wraith King having the Beastmaster aura is going to be very, very tough. It's another core that gives you push potential. It's another core that gives you some damage, and I'm loving the CIS Rejects lineup. Also, if it is an offlane Jakiro, he is annoying to the Wraith King until Wraith King has level 3. Then with the 2 points in Skeletons, or maybe level 4, the Jakiro takes so much damage. It is actually insane. I played this lane recently. I had an offlane Jakiro. Not sure what I was, but still, we played against the Wraith King, and when he uses the Skeletons, the Jakiro just takes so much damage. Disruptor, one of those heroes that harasses it. So Winstrike, I'm not so sure anymore that they want to be playing this Jakiro in the offlane. Might just put it against the Beast.
Yeah, they might. I would kind of still like to see the Bane in the lane and put Jakiro into the top with somebody else, but it really depends on the duo, what they're looking for. Since they don't have the Tide, they don't have the double slow harass build available into their hands. They might even swap lanes if you think about the correct offlane pick to put something against the Beast, because PA Wraith King is still, I think, pretty decent to go up against, but any lane swap at some point is really going to pull off out of balance whoever starts off with the swapping action. We did see one of those, and that was because of the Jakiro, where they did swap the lanes.
And Winstrike are taking their time here. They probably don't even know which positions they want to put their heroes in. I have to say, the CIS Rejects lineup, it just looks so amazing. Tower push, check. Vision, check. Catch, check. Magical burst, check. Laning phase, check. Everything is there. Save, check as well. It is insane how good their lineup is. And the only thing they're lacking a bit is armor, and that's where the PA comes in. So that's where the chance for Winstrike comes from. But it's still gonna be so hard to kind of stop the pressure that CIS Rejects have. Yes, you do have good wave clear, but just not gonna be enough.
So an Underlord pick in the end. Gonna be going out for Winstrike. And I do not spy an Underlord at all in their hero pool. Not banned or picked, so make that a new one into the books. And obviously Larl also, who is standing in for Winstrike. We already discussed this in our... If you missed our winner interview with Winstrike the last time, we had a great talk with Mag. He explained the situation that since Jodran in Kazakhstan unable to join in because of the current situation, Larl will be playing in for the team. But they're still kind of... I don't remember what was their exact situation, because they need to have an X amount of games with their main player, right? So...
I think you can have 3 games with a stand-in, so I think they're okay.
So they've played with Larl once or twice already, making this either the second or the third game. Plus, they still have one more to go. So they're they're in a pretty risky spot right now. I will have to double check that quickly. Let me see. So we saw Laurel standing in against Bait. Dodren did play against Gambit. So this is the second game by the looks of it.
Yeah,
Okay, so they're not screwed in that case of getting disqualified because they don't have the limit. They don't have the amount of correct games with their core roster. So they should be fine with that. Obviously, they would love to play with Dodren, and since Winstrike is still playing for a spot, at least for the second place, I don't think they can catch first place anymore, but they can get the second place. Unless they win V Gaming and they win CIS Rejects here, and then they really pull off an upset and force either CIS Rejects or Hydra or V Gaming to stay in Division 2, despite winning every game so far, pretty much.
That would definitely be an upset, though. I don't think this game number 1 is gonna go too greatly for them. Usually, we also had an interview when a player stated you want to pick an underlord against something, against the PL, against a lot of illusions.
Right.
And this game, it is not a good underlord game. Also, because if you're going for a tanky build, let's say the utility build, which pretty much hasn't been the way to go for the offlaners, but let's say you go that route, there's just so much mixed damage on the side of CIS Rejects, so you don't really know what to go for. So Underlord is most likely going to be going for an ATOS, which will make him relatively squishy to whatever CIS Rejects have to throw at him. And the thing is, usually Underlord is good at turtling, but when you have a Beastmaster, Division is always on your side, and you can just find the Underlord so easily and dive him and kill him, so that way you can take the tower. So I'm just not impressed with the last pick of Winstrike.
The pressed kid takes 3 hits from the tower. He thinks there's vision there, but it's actually a Winstrike hero providing vision, so it does not ping out a ward location at least. They've put both wards by CIS Rejects onto cliffs. So obviously the Huck also walks in, is like, yep, there's no vision here, there's no ward placed down. Force, I think Mag said Force Major in the last interview.
Yeah, he did say force
But in
major.
our hearts, he remains as Force Majeure because he's canceling everything, right?
Yeah. Either way, I like the wording from Winstrike. They're making sure that the Queen of Pain has a good game. They want her to get the bounties, what runes? They want her to get the power runes as well. Or, sorry, Winstrike want this Lash, but we're gonna see a fight, so we can hold that thought.
Yep. Well, we can get back to the thoughts, so continue.
Yeah, so either way, you want the runes to go your ways, and they're actually protecting the Lash. I guess that does make more sense, considering that the Bane is probably the best hero to rotate in this game, and the Io and the Disruptor don't really give you that much kill potential, but you want to keep the Lash safe, so you see the supports rotating, and you make sure that the Io is in place to for the Lash to survive. If that does happen, the turnaround is possible. So I'm liking the words coming out from CIS Rejects.
Yeah, great timing there as well. Quap able to deny the Ops Ward in mid, so don't pick up the extra gold on the Disruptor for a successful D-Ward. It's only half successful, and vision taken away, but no gold given back. While keeping an eye open on these lanes. Ramses, who has been probably the best farmer in this entire division. He's had some very farm-heavy heroes as well to his hero pool, but so have a lot of other players too. So you can't really say that he wouldn't be in the top for farm. And as I do look at the GPM list, by far Ramses is number 1 with 798 GPM average. Second is Dream, third is Naive, and they're at 728 and 716.
If Ramses wants to get back to his former glory, being definitely the best carry in the whole CIS region, then in Division 2 he really needs to have those kind of stats. You know, kind of fighting against some of these top tier carries in the CIS region is just too tough right now. Though I want to talk about Noticed a bit. I think he wants to go for a hood in this game, and it will help you against the Ledge, but I still think it's so much damage, and CIS Rejects are already going forward.
Well, they're looking for this. Can't quite get the kill on the Wraith King, but Noticed is the one to fall. Very important here for CIS Rejects. Wraith King able to cut out the vision, plus being a bit faster than the Underlord. Bane on the other side too, so 20 HP survival. leading into a kill, which is very nice. One thing I do want to say, even despite the level of competition being a bit different with Division 2 and Division 1, there's a massive difference in GPM when you look at Ramses and compared to even Division 1 players, where Kuman's at 729, Yatoro is at 717. The rest of the top 5 list are at 660, 630, 633. Just GPK, Pure, and Krylat. So, if you compare those numbers with Ramses' 780, at least in terms of farm, Ramses is definitely Division 1 material.
Yeah, that's true. Still, it does make a bit of a difference who you're playing against as well. It definitely does, but still, it is relatively impressive. And as I said, we should be expecting that from.
And it's mainly because everybody else on the Division 2 top 5 list have the same numbers and everybody in the Division 1 list. So definitely CS is a very important factor. They're a tiny bit lower in Division 1, knowing that you're going to be contested. There's going to be a lot more fighting, more crucial fights as well that kind of dictate how small the margins are going to be. So I rest my case. He is the best farmer of this division. Is he going to be the best one in the next division? I think we can hold that storyline for there, for the second tour, if they make it there into Division 1. Got to win this series first.
Yeah, they're on a good path to get there, but they're still not there quite yet. I have to say this, Lara Queen of Pain in the mid lane, I really didn't expect him to go for the Shadow Strike at all. I wanted him to farm more, because the Pressed Kid, when he gets level 6, he can just go to the jungle, and do miss a kill there on FNG, so Winstrike at least get one going their way.
Yep, they get revenge for losing their Underlord before, making it a 1-for-1 now in the bot lane. Every other lane is still tied. CS is also pretty fairly evenly distributed. Beastmaster's now level 3. He survived the worst. He's hitting level 4 actually in the next creep, so that's going to also pump his farm up. He has gone for 1 point in axes. No points in Inner Beast.
You are playing with the Wisp, so you have to have a way to secure the range creep. That is the go-to. You usually take it on level 1 just to make sure that the range creep can go your way. It doesn't always happen, but at least you have a chance to do it. Though Soneko has really been doing a great job in this lane. He knows that he can't threaten the Beastmaster in a sense that he can kill him, but he's just creating enough space from the Hawk. And PA, just like the Anti-Mage, is one of those heroes where the Battle Fury timing is just so important to the pretty much continuation of your game. The sooner you get it, the sooner you'll be online.
Kill going for Soneko here. Io is pretty screwed here, unless he teleports away, as he does. So, heavy damage on the level 2 Io.
Pretty big, but with these kind of moves, those CIS Rejects, they're giving such a free time to the Hawk. Look at this, 28 CS, 12 denies. He's having a perfect lane so far, and that is not going to change. Also, with the Orb of Corrosion, they might actually be able to get a kill now, especially with the Io not being there, and Roger is rotating to the mid lane to help the Press Kid, who, for the most part, has had a really good laning phase.
He has. And I'm kind of looking now, you have the Quap. We talked about Quap having a lot of damage. Like Quap and Ursa, for example, are a great duo. PA going for Orb of Corrosion with Power Treads coming up fairly early. This is not a Battle Fury PA we're looking at.
I mean, I still think he gets it eventually, but he wants to be able to fight early on.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is a game where you just don't go for it. Winstrike has... I mean, it's down to them for the decision-making. Larla's looking for a kill on the Io. Is going to get it. Soneko... Faced up by Depressed Kid. This Jakiro has used his entire mana pool for it. And Bane is coming in from the side, trying to get something done here. Pulse Nova's going to burn out the rest from Depressed Kid. And even the Hawk wants to take a part of this fight. Throws in a dagger onto the Lesh, slowing him down. There's the Diabolic Edict taking damage. Lesh low on HP. And Pasha tried to deny him, but not able to. And Force Major gets this one.
He's gonna be the one getting the kill. Obviously, wanted on the PA, but the Hawk not gonna be able to get it. The Queen of Pain not having enough mana, not having enough HP to jump in, but really solid kill. It did take them some time, but CIS Rejects, they were running in at the same time as well, so it's not like they were farming on their heroes either. And this Underlord, he's actually starting to pressure the Raid King. If he's alone, it is something that can happen. 3 points in Raid File Blast, not something that we see too often.
Yep. And also the Firestorm almost maxed out on the Underlord, but this is going to lead into the death of the Underlord. Doesn't Get the right click Ramses for enough, but Ramses just far enough so he doesn't get hit by the Underlord, but able to bait them in. Meanwhile, huge stacks found by Laurel and stealing them as well, taking some of the smaller creeps at least, but can he get the bigger ones? While FNG and Roger are like, no, all our hard work going down the drain. Laurel, he's tanking hits, but he's still taking more CS, and Beastmaster, he needs 12 XP for the Roar. He's gonna get it as Soneko dies, and now he's got Roar available. He levels it up. He's got stick charges. He's gonna use it onto the Bane. Freshly leveled up 6 to get a secondary kill, and Depressed Kid comes in from the back, making it 2 kills. But Laurel, he walks away with that huge stolen stack.
And I have to say both teams are moving quite well around the map. Winstrike, they see a TP towards the bottom lane, immediately go into the enemy triangle. CIS Rejects, they get a kill onto the Underlord in the bottom lane, and the Press Kid immediately runs towards the mid, knowing that there might be a chase going on. So CIS Rejects, they do manage to respond because they make 2 moves, whereas Winstrike, they only got 1, and in the end they lost their supports. Sure, you got the stack, and the supports of CIS Rejects will be a bit sad, but the guys on the Winstrike will be a bit more sad, considering they lost their lives.
Now that we're at the 8-minute mark, Lesh is leading, followed up by the Co-op and the PA. And it is the Beastmaster following up behind, but not far behind. So this Beast is still off to a decent lane. He's going to get to farm himself up. Most likely going to be sitting in this lane for quite some time. Slowly push down, get that tower out of the way while working towards the Helm of the Overlord. So Dominator still pretty well timed for Beast. And we've seen Pasha do this time and time after again with this Beastmaster. He just sets space in this top lane for the next 5 minutes or so. So he's going to be leaving at 14, 15, maybe 16 minutes to participate with his team. If it's not happening in top lane, he's not going to be a part of any of the action. Alright, finds Soneko. Tumbler toy with a jump onto the Chikiro. Quick kill for the Lesh. Always good to find.
It's a big one as well. The problem now for Winstrike is that they can't push the bottom lane that well. They can't defend the top lane that easily because they're going to be running into a Hawk. And you are in this kind of position where your tower is going to go down super early. Pasha will overtake your jungle, and then the farming game will be going towards CIS Rejects. But with Wraith King not having his ulti, he actually lets go of the bottom tower noticed. With the Hood, will be able to grab this one. This is something that doesn't happen too often with the Wraith King being pushed out of the lane pre-10 minutes.
Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked.
Looking at Ramses here with working towards his Midas, very close to getting it too. And we do get to see the Battle Fury in the end for the Hux, so he wanted the OOC for that early pressure, get that early XP as well. I mean, for early HP, not XP. Pretty important to, at least, even if you can get yourself a fluffy hat or something, but not normally being built on a PA, so if you get the OOC, that's already a good way to start your things. And making his way for the Battle Fury. Might get slowed down by a little bit, but I think it's must needed.
Yeah, the thing is, PA can decide not to go for a Battle Fury or a farming item like a Maelstrom if you have a Magnuson team. If you don't have a Magnuson team, going for something like that could pretty much ruin your game, because the PA still needs level 18. That's her biggest timing. It's not the Deso, it's not the BKB, it's level 18. That's when you jump in and the hero just dies. So without the Battle Fury, you're not killing that many creeps, you're not getting that many levels, you miss out on a few kills and you're dead. But Winstrike going towards the top lane, this is how you get the Beastmaster out with the smoke, but Pasha is in a really
goes up the side, very good ice path. Macro Fire's there, but a perfect turnaround from FNG. There's a Static Storm, the Roar's gonna be there too, Nightmare save just in time, but the Co-op able to get out, but the Glimpse is there as well. Laurel needs to keep them away, Depressed Kid coming up the side, doesn't get the chance to use the Sonic Wave. He felt like, can I move away? Do I have to use this to run out? And CIS Rejects, they bring in the numbers.
Oh, that's a beautiful play from FNG now as well onto Force Major. He pretty much set that fight for his team, and now he got them a bonus with a beautiful max rage genetic field.
The Huck looking for some revenge here. Very low HP on this Lesh. Gets the stun out. PA in trouble. Where's your backup? Where's the start? No target to jump to. Here comes Notice. Notice now joining in as well. They need to make this count because they're using so many resources for this. CIS Rejects are just running away. Disruptor teleports out, and Laurel can't get the kill. They might get Pasha though, so that's something that they get in return. And the arms of the Hawk as well. It does go for him in the end. So with it did look like an Orbit Corrosion tick takes the final one for the kill, since he was nowhere nearby. Didn't even get to throw in the dagger. As how many heroes did Winstrike lose there?
Winstrike
One,
lost.
two. So it's a 1 for 2. They lost Laurel. They lost Force Major.
Yeah, they lost 2. No, actually they lost 3 if you count Soneko out, or did they? I'm not sure. Either way,
yeah.
CIS Rejects, they're gonna be okay with the with their Beastmaster going down. The Queen of Pain, it was quite weird to me. Soneko. Okay, he gets kicked.
You know, when the Disruptor's walking in, that I'm dead.
So the thing with Winstrike there is that they knew that the Beastmaster is gonna be on the top lane. That is where he wants to play. But the thing is that FNG was in such a good position. This hero needs to die. That last fight, if Winstrike didn't give the kill to DPA, it would have been actually disastrous, because the only the Beastmaster dying after so much committal over and over again going in, it's not good. At least they will increase the timing on the Hawks Battle Fury with that kill, and at least something going their way. But Winstrike, I don't know if they're gonna feel comfortable going towards the top lane once again, but they kind of have to. You can't leave this Beastmaster to do whatever he wants.
13 minutes in. Pasha's still building towards his Overlord helmet. Has been interrupted several times, but able to take down that top tower. Had to force into a couple fights. Also had his first death, but still having the free time to farm in top. And Winstrike, they placed the Quap actually to cut down one of the waves, but surprisingly, there's no hero for Winstrike right now who could just safely sit behind this tier 2 tower and push the creep waves, and especially keep the Beastmaster at bay. Usually you always have a hero placed into the top lane, into that tier 2 tower. Right now it's just taking damage.
If they place a hero on the top lane, the only one that is going to be geared up for that one is the Underlord. Oh, just a second. Okay, now I think Soneko just being annoying
You could
a
put
bit.
the
Hitting
Jakiro to
Ramses
cast
in.
spells. Yeah, he's the one to be targeted on, and Force Major comes in with Laurel. They need to burst the Wraith King for the first time, and this armlet toggle might become tricky with the Shadow Strike. Glimpse onto the Quap. Nicely set up here. Leshrac, the Nightmare's going to be there. 2-man root from Notice, but Laurel is done for. And they're looking for that Wraith King kill. Still needs the Fiend Script as well on the Leshrac, and a beautiful connection there. Now it's 4 versus 2 suddenly. Ramsey still able to dish out a lot of damage. Maybe killed the Hawk on the way out. And here comes Io. Tries to give up some extra pump and takes down the Hawk. They will lose the Wraith King as well, but they got the Hawk first. That's pretty important. While the IO, 3 seconds tether, 2 seconds, 1 second. Does he get to jump out? No, sir.
A bit of a weird play coming out from Roger. You know that Ramses has his ultimate, and you still decide to save him over the Lesh. So tethering to the Wraith King there pretty much lost the fight for CIS Rejects. If the Lesh dies, you don't have the AoE damage, and it is a lucky break for them that they managed to kill the PA in the end. But overall, pretty solidly set up for Winstrike either way.
And
they made the Wraith King in.
I love to watch this Bane play as well, because he's in the middle of the fight, but he's waiting for the necessary stuns to go out first before he can Fiend Script. He's waiting for them to get close enough so he can drop it down.
And look at his spells. He actually wants to enfeeble the Wraith King and then just focus everything onto the Lesh. That's actually such a smart move. That
is. Yeah, you can see it in that last fight too, that Wraith King was struggling to kill the Hawk. He barely had the damage for it. And only with the help of the IO tethering in with the maxed out overcharge, he finally got to win that duel. He did lose his life in the end, but at least killed the PA first. So that also hurts PA's net worth, who is, by the way, 1,000 gold behind the Wraith King.
Yeah, something people tend to forget about the Enfeeble as well is that it actually reduces heal, and by quite a lot, more than the Spirit Vessel itself, especially maxed out. It's 60% regen reduction, so having that on anyone who is tethered is gonna be very important. Of course, you don't want the Wraith King doing the damage, but still, if you can counter the Wisp completely, it's still a
They're
big
targeting
deal.
straight towards the Underlord. Underlord coming, leading the charge. He's got the roots onto the Wraith King. He's gonna be looking to go down. 80 seconds. Cooldown. It's gonna be enough, and they're gonna go out. Will the escape? Oh, the glimpse comes out too early. That is so difficult to play up against sometimes, because calculating and counting how many seconds do you need for this. because it's such a long delay, 6 seconds on the rank 1. So he used his glimpse first, thinking that they were going to be sent back, but that was like a second too early.
And he was also level 12, you know, so he maybe thought it was gonna be 5 seconds counting, but he didn't get the real count off. Winstrike actually doing a pretty decent job. They're up in net worth. The PA isn't doing that great, but their supports are actually getting a lot of farm, and the ether lenses, the veil on the Jakiro, those items do add up. That veil, of course, so much with the Rain of Fire, the spells from the Queen of Pain, the spells of the Jakiro. Winstrike is actually going to be doing so much damage.
FNG throws out the early sentries down on the cliff. The Hawk shows the ward on the cliff. So this disruptor is staying hidden for now. Pasha is continuously pushing in this top lane, and that tower, it's about to fall. Heavy damage. It's gonna go all the way down unless Jakiro is able to intercept in time.
Radiant's bottom tower under fire.
Well,
Yeah, this is the thing. They want Noticed to get out of the mid lane. If Noticed goes top, they go to mid. If he's in mid, they're just gonna be on top. The Jakiro is a solid hero to push out, and probably one of the reasons that Winstrike picked it. But it's still not as annoying as the Underlord, just because he can be brought down.
look at how many heroes they just brought into the top lane. They're like, yeah, you want to try tower defense? Well, try me. I'm going to bring out my buds. And here comes the Pressed Kid. But there's still backdoor protection. He's trying to take up a Diabolic Edict and ends up taking a heck of a lot of damage. And now an opportunity arises for Winstrike coming in from the side. Notice is going to be there, but they're under a Hawk. And CIS Rejects resetting themselves. They have the relocate, but they don't have to use it here. So, you call somebody, Soneko's gonna call his.
The second they see more heroes there, Notice then rotates and immediately goes back to the mid lane. This mid lane tower, it seems to be more important to them because it opens Roche for CIS Rejects. You don't want to give them Roche, or you want to give them Roche as late as possible, possibly fight there if your PA is ready, and considering that the Hawk is working towards the BKB, 3-4 more minutes and he'll be there.
Underlord is actually getting a lot of damage stacks from these dead skeletons. He's got 168 right now. You don't want to brawl with this fella. Very counteractive as well in the sense. At least the Pressed Kid's able to take down the tower in the top lane. The Hawk's going to be there too, so no ambush set up by Winstrike. But if you think about it, Harry, this Underlord's great against the Wraith, thanks to the skeletons and the Atrophy Aura. Atrophy Aura, I mean.
Yeah, he is going for a BKB, so it seems like Noticed wants to right-click. It's not going to be a defensive Underlord. It's not going to be a utility Underlord. It's going to be the one that actually punches you in the face, and that's a lot of damage. You know, you run into the Lesh, he thinks that he's going to be fine. He gets a lot of healing reduced, and I really don't like that the Press Kid isn't going for a BKB this game. The Eternal Shroud just won't be enough.
Yeah, I mean, why the heck not? Just show us the cojones, Noticed. This guy, if he can build up 264 extra right-click damage, still continues to grow that Atrophy Aura. He's up at 304. He could almost one-shot this Wraith King at his current HP. He's very low, but still, Underlord now in trouble at the moment. Ice Path saves a bit late from Soneko, but CIS Rejects, they're not jumping on him. Wraith King, meanwhile, he's down to 40 HP. And if you have looked at his itemization choice, he is going for a Silver Edge to break this PA.
Yeah, literally break the Hawk though. You know, with the PA, you don't want to be going for the Wraith King. You just want to go into the backlines. Maybe if you're focusing a core, it can be a Lesh. If you see that he is out of position, but overall, it is very hard to catch a PA. Still, you will have the Invis. You're probably gonna wait for him, and Ramses.
Man on a mission.
Wants to go forward. Yeah, but
the king on his throne is approaching. Sadly, no targets to be found. They've all left the area. Bane has an Aether Lens. That is huge. That's absolutely huge for Force Major.
the thing is, with the Bane, of course, the Fiend's Grip is important, but the deal with this hero is that he goes around the map, just sleeps everyone. That is why CIS Rejects, they did go for the Beastmaster. Having the Hawk Vision, you can't really do that around the map. So that's why we see Bane being a little bit more defensive than he should be, and maxing out the Enfeeble, being good against the Io, and of course, just because his sleep isn't going to be that effective now, being level 11, he has everything.
I wonder if Winstrike is actually going to fight this Roche, because they have a hunch, but they don't have full info on this. And notice he's still walking around the Roche pit, but right now there's so much traffic here, they should know something's up. And Ramsey starts the fight as well. This is going all in the plan of CIS Rejects, and now it's down to Winstrike to turn it around if they can. Underlord dropping low, he's got the roost, the BKB will be popped, there's a roar, perfectly timed onto the PA as well. The Hawk unable to get any damage out. Notice this down, Raking also does for the first time, but also PA, look at Quap, look at Laurel, the positioning with the Quap. It's not going to be enough though, with that Sonic Wave already being burned and not doing enough right now. And CIS Rejects only
Glimpse
lose a
into.
Raking. And there goes Soneko. Tries to set up a nice path under himself, but he's a bit slow with it, so he doesn't get it off. And that also leads to him being dead. So CIS Rejects not only get Roche, they get some kills, and now they can push down objectives.
This is big, and it all comes down to how CIS Rejects set up this entire game. So first, they were only playing the top lane. They waited for their chance to take the mid. When they take the mid, they walk into the Roche. I have to say, Winstrike, they did create enough space for them to get the items, but they were a little bit hesitant. With the game slowing down, you're unsure if you're stronger, if you're not, what the enemies are doing. Are they gonna take the Roche that fast? And with the Wraith King not being in the Roche pit, that actually dissuaded them from going in there fast enough. And because of it, once the Lash has the Aegis and the Wraith King has his reincarnation, they run in the 9-second BKB on the PA. He can choose, am I gonna take down the Aegis or the reincarnation, and none of it is gonna be that beneficial.
Yeah, it's a bit of a difference there for sure. But it's when we're looking at this current situation for Winstrike too. If you're feeling like you're ahead, it still goes down to like, are we doing mind games here? Who's going to be the smarter one? And that's where CIS Rejects has plenty of experience against some very heavy caliber teams, or heavy caliber players even, you can put it that way. So even if they're not in their so-called glory years, experience never goes away. When you've seen some shit, you know how to deal with it.
You can't unsee it either.
That too.
That can be the downside of it. Anyways, the CIS Rejects, they do have 3k gold lead. They are controlling more of the map, but I still like how Noticed is playing. He's really using this Underlord to its full potential. Sometimes goes super aggressive, but CIS Rejects, they're done with it. They want to go forward.
Soneko holds the push from the Lesh, at least for a second, but the smoke is not going to be of any use, really, because they're just charging in. Bloodstone, Eternal Shroud. This guy is going to be super hard to kill. Well, at least for the second time, because the first one is fairly easy when they blow everything on this guy. Soneko is dead now. Round 2 onto Leshrac, and he's healing, he's regenerating. Sonic Wave's going to be there. The mechanism heal from Roger. They're still trying to get this Leshrac done, and they finally do. It takes a lot of work for them, and now Winstrike, they've burnt everything. They need to reset themselves. Ramses is still there to do some work. Glimpse again onto Notice. He forces out the Dark Rift. Meanwhile, they've jumped on the back line, taking down FNG, cancels the ulti too. The road connection onto the IO. Maybe they can get them. Maybe they can get the kill on Roger. Low on HP, and makes it a 3-for-1. Winstrike strikes back.
Okay, finally, the Lesh is gonna understand he needs a BKB. You're playing, you're playing against the Enfeeble, so the heals are not gonna be that big. You are playing into an Underlord, running into the Pit of Malice. You can never run out, so he has to buy that BKB. If he had it here, he just instantly runs out. The BKB from Winstrikes, they don't do anything, and then the glimpses just catch them. So I think it's a bit of a greedy play coming out from Depressed Kid, and you know, he is the new kid on the block here, and it does make sense. You can't really be a good player in Dota if you haven't thrown enough games by not buying a BKB, though usually the experience does come from pubs, so Depressed Kid here kind of putting it on another level.
Well, talking about another level, that's what we're kind of going to need from CIS Rejects too. Not entirely yet. Nothing has been thrown away. Still have some good farm flowing in their way. Wraith King is still deadly in late game. Plus, building a BKB is going to make a huge difference. But once Lesh has BKB and Wraith King has BKB, how does Winstrike deal with them? How do they kite them?
The thing is, you don't have to. The Hawk is going for a Satanic, but I'd rather he go for a Lincoln's. The problem is that there is this roar that can stop the PA. There is nothing that can stop a BKB targets of Winstrike. The Kite from CIS Rejects. Winstrike, when you talk about Kite, you have the Sonic Wave, which is a good thing to stop them, but I'd rather Winstrike have these heroes less running in, and you just go in on him with the PA and destroy him. So I'd rather see a Lincoln's, maybe a Basher for the PA, just to be able to run in on the Lesh and kill him from 100 to 0, and that is a possibility, despite Lesh having 23 armor and the Wisp behind him. So if it's kiting, I guess the Sonic Wave is your best bet, but I would much rather like to see an aggressive play from Winstrike.
Yeah, I would love to too, because we do see CIS Rejects taking the helm a lot, where they dictate the start of the fight and how they finish it, but they also kind of, I feel like if they try to play a bait, if they try to force out some big spells from the opponents and they don't fall for it, I feel like their patience is their worst enemy sometimes. And I think that's also for Depressed Kid, because like we saw, he loves to charge in, he wants to get Winstrike's attention, but when they don't exactly give him that attention, it just set up for some pretty scary turnaround. That last charge wasn't one of those, where he walks in, pops the smoke of Soneko, who was trying to make Winstrike make a smoke play. But sometimes you just find yourself with the Depressed Kid is hunting and hunting and hunting, and then he's just ended up being kited all the way. Right now, it is Winstrike going on the offensive, and they will get Pasha. He does still go for the roar on the Quap, but really not going to make any difference here. BKB burn.
He's pretty much gonna have it when he's up, like 20 seconds downtime. It's not that big of a deal. You TP to the lane, you push out the wave, and it's there. So just attempting to run out. Yeah, if they did dodge. So Winstrike, they understand that they are powerful. They understand that CIS Rejects, the Beastmaster, the Wisp, the Disruptor are easy grabs. Even the Depressed Kid could die quite easily, so they want to push their advantage. Taking the enemy triangle so early on and staying there for long is not something you want to do. So farm that part of the map, push out the lanes, and maybe gear up for another fight in the mid.
Carl, the help of the Pit of Malice from Noticed, catching 2. Disruptor down on low HP. Follow-up coming in from the ice path and into another route. Yeah, you're not, that's just so silly. But that's how it is. You walk into the Pit of Malice, you said it yourself, you go in, you're not going out.
And this is something that I would like CIS Rejects to get. We can see that the Disruptor is thinking about an Aghanim Scepter. He still hasn't committed for a single component, but a Force Staff is a necessity against the Pit of Malice if you want to get out, if you want to run away. You know, if you're running in, you have BKBs, then it's going to be fine. But if you want to run away, you need that Force Staff. Look at this. They have just so many ways to keep people in it, and these supports, even the Beastmaster, they're not going to be able to get out. The Lotus Orb is a good way to approach it, and Pasha, he's going for that one. But still, I would like a Force Staff from the Disruptor, and he has the money at this point.
Talked about Noticed going for BKB, and he wants to right-click. He's going for Assault Cuirass next. So they want to amplify the PA while keeping their boys alive a bit longer against the Wraith King, giving that extra survivability and being able to stand in the front while diminishing the effects of this Wraith King by a little bit. And also, if he's happened to be next to one of the supports, I mean, might as well be killing a Disruptor with ease.
So Ramses isn't going for a blink. He wants to go straight MKB. That means that when the PA jumps in, he just straight beelines towards her once he does get the MKB. That is a solid approach, though the Hawk will have a Satanic. You're probably not going to be able to kill him unless he's roared, and the Hawk will more often than not be able to jump out. So I'm not sure if it's the right choice. You know, destroying a hero in the backline like the Jakiro or the Bane would actually be more beneficial, considering that you have so much damage to kill the PA, especially when her BKB is down. But yeah, Ramses, he has an idea of how he wants to play it, and sometimes that is enough, even though from my perspective it doesn't seem like the best one, but having an idea and going through with it is the most important thing in Dota.
Winstrike looking for an approach here with a 5-man smoke. Laurel picks up the Illusion Rune. Depressed Kid. Io in the front as well. The perfect target onto Roger. And the Io being removed right away. Now looking for the Leshrac kill as well. He's trying to regenerate himself up with the Bloodstone with the Shroud, but it's not going to be enough. The Hawk has way too much damage at his hands. But downside for Winstrike, Roche was 2 minutes 40 seconds, so they have to wait a long time for that to be up.
Yeah, and like that first game of the day that we casted, the Roche this time around will take a lot of time to come back, and there has to be a balance. You know, balance in all things.
Balance in all
spirits
things.
would say. As one of the spirits would say. Either way, Winstrike, they're doing a good job in this game. The Hawk is not at critical mass just yet, but he has everything. Oh, they caught the Ramses.
Well, they're going to use Fiend Script for the first kill. Just need to make it happen. Pretty much the thing. Sonic Wave used as well. Dust as well. They know that the Wraith King has that invis. He's even got that Silver Rage, but he's not going to get to use it, is he? Ice Pam. This is from the Hawk. Sorry, from Soneko. Still gets the kill done as a relocate from Roger. He thought he was smart. Can he get them? Can he get him killed? Oh, he gets out, but he's burning. That boy be burning.
The second that they got the Fiend's grip off, they needed to go for the relocate play on Roger. That is what needed to happen if they were to save him. We saw that he had another 6 seconds left on the relocate to save his buddy. And, you know, CIS Rejects, they have...
Valiant effort.
Yeah, it was a valiant effort. They have this Beastmaster, but he's controlling the top part of the map, which means on the bottom, Force Major is still gonna be a problem in a sense of catching people with the Bane.
Oh, they have found Pasha. He's got 518 movement speed, so he's gonna be a difficult one to catch, especially with the boars. We'll give the Hellbear Smasher away. That's 250 gold. They still walk into a courier. Can't right-click it down. Laurel, the stand-in for Winstrike, who has been playing really well so far. It's been a pleasure to watch, even though this is his second series with this team. Kind of like Vazia. I feel like Vazia and Laurel both came in with a very big hunger. So when you talk about stand-ins, or any stand-in that has been playing in Division 2 so far, these two must have been the best ones so far.
Yeah, they've done pretty good job, and we can see Laurel making Winstrike look incredibly strong. We talked to Mag, who said that it is just amazing that they found such a good stand-in, and their scrims were going well as well, so they're quite happy with what they got. But coming back to this game, Winstrike, they took the top tier 1, which means now the Roche is completely open for them. They also pushed out the top lane, which they haven't been able to do for a very long time. Pretty much for 30 minutes, Pasha has been making sure that is pushed in, and now Winstrike, they're the ones controlling the Roche area. They can wait for CIS Rejects. They can force them to fight in the Roche.
Ramses DD rune picked up. Perfect timing as well to use it if they smoke up like they do. Oh boy, Harry, I can't wait to see this next team fight. This is going to be a big one for both sides. For Winstrike, who's been looking good, but CIS Rejects, they also got that DD on the Wraith King. Do they get to use it? BKB pop, instant hits onto the Underlord, taking some heavy damage to the nose, but the Hawk also jumps to the back and takes down FNG. That will also be the Wraith King now dropping to half HP. BKB popped as well, and now onto the IO. They're going to take down Roger. There's going to be another one down. They're going to lose the Wraith King for the first time too, and that's a heavy loss for CIS Rejects. And Winstrike looking hot. They're looking really good right now. They're going to take down the Wraith King for a second time in a row. He's missing half of his hits too, with a triple kill coming out for Dahak. Roshan also taken, and despite them having a DD rune on the Wraith King, they can't really get anything else except for the Underlord kill. He bought back into it, but they lost a whole lot more for it.
The second that the BKBs from CIS Rejects go down, they can't do anything. And this comes to the problem with Delesh. When they were stronger, he didn't have his BKB. Now CIS Rejects, they're on the back foot. This PA is a big problem. He's going to have a Scotty, which means he's going to be an even bigger one.
1v2, goes on to Roger, wants to look for one and almost gets it. What? Ayo uses everything to try and get out of there. Holy Locket heals into mechanisms, but not quite enough, and Dahak just sliced his way through that Ayo. Of course you crit the moment he tethers away.
Though, to be frank, you know, he kind of thought he was already dead, so probably would have killed the Ayo anyways, but still, it is quite fun seeing the Ayo maybe like, I'm out, no.
Yeah, it is fun to watch at least. Notice fails with the pit. Doesn't connect onto any heroes. He's still got a very poor cast range with that ability. Has to be fairly close to the battle to get it off. So any stun, any silence, or any slow that hits him, basically, that's disabling your best control ability. Pasha coming in, 4 versus 5 fight. They want to fight this. They found Laurel. The roller will come out onto the co-op. And the Nightmare's going to be there too, even though the Static Storm is placed on
Yeah,
top.
the
There's another
Aghanim's-
stun. Ramsey's got the damage. Here comes another move as well. Depressed Kid, but Laurel is dead. Coming in with a buyback. The Hawk, he gets the regen out from the Satanic. Almost getting the full blow by Ramses. Not enough though. And now Depressed Kid, you're a bit too far away. We talked about this. He is completely out of position. And this Leshrac pays it with his life. 1 for 1.
Still, this is two heroes on the side of Winstrike, two cores at that don't have buybacks with the Disruptor, with an Aghanims and limited saves on the side of Winstrike. Or scratch that. Okay, we can say the Nightmare is somewhat of a save, but just for a second, you're still gonna be going down. So CIS Rejects, if they find the jump on the Queen, if they find the jump on the Underlord, there's just gonna be a big hit to Winstrike. But for now, they don't have the resources, and Winstrike already taking down the tier 3.
Gone. Melee Rax also taking a pummeling right now. The Hawk leading the front. Notice has also got a decent amount of damage, while the CIS Rejects are thinking what to do. What can we do right now? We're just watching our buildings fall one after the other. Doesn't look like they have much to do right now. BKB is up in 2 seconds on the Wraith King. Ramses. If only he had a blink. If only he had a blink. He's trying to get to the Hawk. He could break him. I'm looking for it. There we go. The break is there. They might just get the Aegis out of the way. Or Staff at set. Oh, he actually got him out. They actually got him out of there. He's safe. The Hawk is safe. Beautiful force staff timing. He could have, but he doesn't want to. Knowing that they have the buybacks down on other cores, they didn't want to force a unnecessary fight there, I guess.
Yeah, beautiful from Winstrike. This is the only way that you lose this game is if you go in, fight, and lose two of your heroes without buybacks. You just get ran down and CIS Rejects snowball from that one. That is the only way that you lose the game. You could have asserted dominance. You could have won the game right there and then. But, you know, this way, it's pretty much 100% victory for them. That was the scenario where CIS Rejects wanted to fight. The PA dies once they go into the backlines. In those 5 seconds, they might actually be able to bring down another hero. And if it's a core, it's disastrous for
it's kind of like
a smart move.
Exactly. It's a smart move. It's kind of like avoiding an unnecessary high-risk, high-reward play, which is not necessary at that point, because you're already getting a high reward for low effort, basically, which is taking things slow, taking it nicely, waiting for the buybacks to come up, because you've got these team fight victories time after time again. Don't push your luck. Laurel is doing exactly that, though, but they do end up finding the Obs ward in the lane. That is what Notice, walking in with a gem, but Quap too deep. Way too deep. Notice is going to have to try at least to get away right now, and he will use the Dark Rift and the BKB to get him to safety, but Quap was not expecting an ambush.
Yeah, and that's 100 seconds on the sidelines. When they saw that ward, I think it was time to bail. And it's also with the PA having a DD in the bottle, Winstrike kind of got rewarded for their smart move to go back. They get a DD for the PA, and now they will not have it once the Queen of Pain is up. So at least CIS Rejects, they get a slight win, but it doesn't seem like enough. You need more. The towers, I don't think they're gonna cut it. You need some hero kills. You need to continue to snowball, and the Winstrike, that's why they're pretty much at their tier 4s with the supports, not giving anything to the enemies.
5 versus 4. CIS Rejects want to keep up the pressure, make sure that they get this tower out of the way. That is your final tier 2 tower now gone. There is one tier 2 remaining in this game. It is held by CIS Rejects in the bot lane. That's the only thing keeping Mega Creeps away from their base. Want to add the range racks into the fold, be my guest, but that is also unhealable damage.
They also have a tier 2, so that's a good thing going their way. Even if, let's say, CIS Rejects lose the Roche. Sorry. They can... I was making a point. Wait, I was making a point. They can still mount up a defense at the tier 2. Mounting up a defense at the tier 2 is a little bit easier in this kind of a scenario because you have more angles at which you can engage the enemy. And those are going to be very important with the Jakiro and the Bane in the back being pretty much of a big nuisance. And look at Force Major. He has the Aghanim Scepter, which means that canceling on the Fiend's Grip, it's probably not gonna happen. You don't want to use the Static Storm to cancel that one.
Yep, Aghanim's Aether Lens. Once he has that Aeon Disc too, that makes things even harder. I do have to commend Soneko with that Force Staff pickup. We talked about CIS Rejects needing to build Force Staffs to get themselves out of Pit of Malice. It has been the Jakiro that has came up with the best Force Staff plays this game, pushing the Quap out of that Static Storm time after time again. So if they get that as well, if Jakiro is not in the Static Storm, no matter if the Quap is inside of it, if the Jakiro is able to push the Quap away, you still get the BKB off and then get glimpsed. Or if you're able to dodge the glimpse too, then turn around from that. So Soneko plays some really big moves in team fights.
And look at Winstrike. They know what the thing is. Get this bottom tier 2 before the Roche spawns. When that does happen, it's gonna be tougher for CIS Rejects to protect the Roche.
In.
And CIS, they have to right now. They understand it perfectly.
They're absolutely going in. Notice, place the Palace into the trees. There is a Hawk. Will connect onto the Underlord. PA leading the front charge. Glyph has been used. Trying to sign up. They've got the Static Storm again, but Soneko doesn't get the Force Staff out this time, but it doesn't matter. The backline is getting murdered. They've got the Beast Grip on top of the Press Kid too, and he's being healed by Roger. Roger trying to keep him up, but it's not going to be enough, and the Wraith King is going to drop, and Winstrike has everybody remaining, and this might just be the seal for the deal as Ramses is taken away. Winstrike will take everyone with them, and Roger in the trees, well, doesn't matter. Might let this IO live just for a bit of mercy. They don't actually see him, but still the buybacks come out, and CIS Rejects, they didn't kill anybody. They didn't kill anybody, Harry.
Yeah, they didn't, and they actually went for a pretty cool play, baiting on the top lane with the relocate. Two of their heroes weren't in the fight at the start, and they were like, okay, now the supports of Winstrike are gonna go away and they're gonna leave the Hawk alone, but they don't bite on that bait, even though it was smart, even though it was next level. But CIS Reject, they needed a next level play to win this game. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, and with the Mega Creeps Winstrike, they still didn't force CIS Reject to call GG, but this game is it's looking over.
It does definitely look like it's going to be over. And with this Roshan having 16 seconds of a respawn timer, he's already up. Winstrike, they could make their way towards the Roche pit as they're drawing on the map. Make your way here, and they are drawing as well. Outpost is not in their control, so CIS Rejects might still jump on them, so they are being prepared for an assault from any direction right now.
Rejects, they can't leave their base. This Roche is falling way too fast. The Hawk just critting him. And who gets the axe?
Oh, it's on the PA. I love this. I absolutely love this. This is going to make playing PA so much fun. Instant blur and cooldowns are being brought back up every time a hero dies. So let's see it in action, shall we, the Hawk? It's touched by the first bird that walks in. There we go. That's the first one. On to the next jump as well. Jumping back and forth. But right now, who's going to be the next one? Don't actually get his spells back right there, but onto the Wraith King for a second time. The roar comes out. The Hawk, that's going to be an Aegis blown out, but Laurel still has damage, still has a Sonic Wave, will throw it out. The Aegis burnt. Now PA coming in for round number 2. Ramses is down, another one falls, and GG! It comes out from CIS Rejects. Winstrike takes the first game of the series.
Yeah, they do. And I guess with you loving the PA Ags, you're a big fan of
I love
PA
it.
Ags, you're a big... Right?
I love it.
I used to play that quite a lot, and now with it being in the game, I'm not a carry player, so I'm a bit sad, but still, it is quite fun to watch. Overall, CIS Rejects, they showed some good movements in this game. They showed an idea of how to play, but I still think that BKB on the press kit, when you hit a timing and you don't have the items necessary to make use of that timing, you will get punished. In Winstrike this time around, they also had the idea of how to play. I really noticed that he was only focusing on defending that mid lane tower, making sure that the CIS Rejects don't get the early Roche, creating space for the Hawk, and in the end, winning the game. But I still think if there was a BKB on the Lesh when they had the Aegis, this probably would have been a different scenario.
Really big victory for Winstrike. That pushes them closer to having a 4-2 scoreline. That would force CIS Rejects into 4-2 as well, while V Gaming and Hydra are sitting at 5-1. Hydra playing up against CIS Rejects, so that is still gonna be... This series might define. This series literally might be the one to define if CIS Rejects can beat Hydra or not, and are they going to take away the spot or force a tiebreaker? Because it does feel like we can go any direction here right now, Harry.
Yeah, we definitely could, and it is going to define. But what I would like to highlight is in this Division 2, we have seen some teams improve so much. Like this game, it looked amazing. A slight item choice like completely changed the pace of the game. And you can say all of the little things matter, but the thing is that the big things are in check right now in Division 2, at least with some of the teams, with the majority of the teams as well. So that means they just get the little things going their way, and a lot of these teams can actually fight in the Division 1 as well. So that's what I really like, is that there's a lot of improvement in the league so far.
Well, a lot of great fun we have experienced so far. Are we going to see Winstrike taking this one 2-0? Or does the Big Bear, the old Virtus Pro Bear, CIS Rejects, do they fight back? We'll see after the break.